Good morning, guys.
Morning.
So,
Morning.
welcome to LifeLab, the water challenge. This is the intersecting activity where you can engage more with the water issues. And before we start to learn the activity, let me introduce myself. My name is Fadel. I'm a master's student in Environmental Sciences at Wageningen University, the Netherlands, and I took the thesis track of Environmental Technology. So LifeLab is a challenge where I gather young adults with the age of 18 until 25 years old from throughout the student in Indonesia, and then they will discuss more, and then they will engage more, and they will face the real problem of water in Indonesia. For this year's series of the LifeLab, the host will be Semarang City in the Indonesia. Semarang is called the Little Netherlands in Indonesia because it's surrounded by water. It has the same condition like most of the places in the Netherlands where they live under the water. They work based on canals, works based on the polder, works based on the drainage system, an advanced drainage system. And then the aims of LifeLab is to empower the young people to engage more in the water challenge issue and the sustainability issue by giving a concrete solution after the session. And then the learning activity takes place in indoor and outdoor setting. So the student is not just stuck in a class. We can also take them outside and see the real problems that happen around them. So in this didactical activity, the session that will be practiced is the first session, which consists of speed dating, Kahoot quiz, and then the video sharing session. And what you don't know about the session is almost everything, because it's just the beginning. So just be yourself. Just pretend that you don't know each other. You don't know about the activity, and I'll just try to make all of you to know each other and to introduce you with the issue. And what you must know that clean water is one of the sustainability issue. And then please be brave to speak up. There will be a video, and please give your comment, please give your opinion, please give your argument towards the video. My personal running course is to motivate you, is to make you encouraged to speak up regarding the water issue and to make you know each other, because throughout the session there will be so many activities that need your collaboration. So please be prepared about that. So here's the first game of this session. It's called the speed dating. So speed dating is a game that is commonly used to make people that don't know each other to knowing what you like, what you don't like from each other. So here's the rule. I'll ask you to find 3 similar things between each of you, but I only give you 1 minute. And after 1 minute, the game is over, and I'll ask you, okay, so what can you find 3 similar things that you all have? Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah, and before the speed dating session, make sure to introduce yourself to each other. And what time is it? Okay, it starts in 3, 2, 1. The game is on.
Okay. My name is Rose.
Yes.
And yours?
Yeah, my name is Jean-Claude.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I like fruits. I like banana, mango is my preferred
Oh,
fruit.
mango. I love mango.
Yeah. I like also dressing second-hand stuff. I prefer yellow, blue color.
Okay, yeah, my favorite color is yellow. It's like that
Yeah.
sort of yellow with
Good.
dark blue, actually.
Yeah, good.
And do you like sports?
I do, yes.
Yes?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost a minute.
Yes,
You
we
need to
have 3
find
things. I think.
3 things.
Yes.
I like also to be consistent in what I do. Daily I have a plan and I go consistently. Good.
Maybe I should work on that a bit more.
5 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, the time is up. Okay, guys. So, what can you find similar between each of you?
Second-hand stuff.
Second-hand stuff.
Yes. We have favorite colors yellow and blue.
Yeah, and blue. And then the
Yes.
third one.
Sports and mango.
Yeah, mango and banana is
Yes.
nice.
Mango and banana. Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, it's interesting that you guys love yellow, and Jean-Claude is also wearing yellow now.
Yeah. Good.
And it's also the same color as the PowerPoint.
You
so-
can
Oh
see.
yeah, oh yeah, it's same color.
Blue,
Which has
yellow.
blue,
Yeah,
yes.
so blue and yellow. It's a coincidence, but it's a
It's a good
perfect
coincidence.
coincidence.
Yes, good.
And the second-hand stuff. So you guys are regularly buying second-hand stuff,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and do you have any favorite place to buy that?
In Wageningen,
In Wageningen, yeah.
it's a mouse. It's
Yes.
known for
It's
everyone.
Emma, so it's the same thing again.
Yes.
Nice.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
So you guys can have a talk about that outside the session about the second-hand stuff and hunting at Emmaus. It's a nice place in Wageningen. Okay, so we're moving to the next session. It's the Kahoot quiz. So be prepared your phones and then open the kahoot.it.
Willen jullie een raketje? Oh.
So here's the code. After you open Kahoot, enter the game pin.
Oh, is it .org? Or
No,
.com?
.it.
Oh.
Do I need nickname?
Yeah,
Or shall I put?
you're free to choose your own nickname.
Let me put Loot.
Okay. Soon as joining, so the game will start. Are you clear to see the screen?
Yes, I see my name.
Yeah. The game will start. Next one. Yeah. Rose is leading.
Oh, nice.
Rose is still leading. So you can only see the option in the phone and the question is in the screen. Rose is still leading. That's okay. Oh, no one is correct. Oh, Rose is still leading.
Yay.
Both of you are correct. Comeback is real. No one is correct. It's Singapore. They're legendary at treating baseball. Both of you are correct, Ken. Jean-Claude is approaching Rose. It's two last question. And the last question. Yeah, everyone's
all
correct.
correct,
Yeah,
yes,
it's all
yes.
correct. It's only a survey.
Good.
And then who's the winner? Oh, it's Rose
It's
with
rosemary.
8,000
Rosemary.
points, and the second place is Claude with 2,000 points. Congratulations! Let's give a pause. That's
So
okay.
that's
Good.
It's this game, and here's the prize.
Oh, let's see.
Prize for this session.
Congratulations,
You
Rose.
can put that in your house
Can I
for
take
nice
this?
decoration. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Let's get back to the point. So now you have seen the Kahoot quiz. You have realized that there is many types of water knowledge around us, and the problem is real. The problem is around us. And I have one interesting video that you might want to see. It's about how levee wars makes the flood worse in the U.S. For anyone who doesn't know what levee is a barrier to protect the river from overflowing. And maybe some of us only think that that's a good thing, but here's the interesting fact that the levee can also lead to a worse flood in the U.S. Here's the video. You guys can see the screen clearly. I'll make sure that the volume is loud enough.
We went to the banks of the Mississippi River, to a fluid mechanics lab where a team of engineers from the University of Minnesota built us this landscape model to test flood scenarios. Overhead, a scanner collects 3D data to measure exactly what's happening. It's a generic model of a river with no levees. That means when the water level increases, it overflows and spreads across the floodplain, often creating important wetland habitat that's home to a variety of species. Putting in levees cuts rivers off from this land, destroying floodplains and wetlands. It allows people to convert these areas into farmland or build houses on them. And while levees protect these communities from flooding, they constrict the river into a narrow channel, making the water flow faster and higher. That creates a bottleneck leading to additional flooding upstream. If all levees are the same height, both sides should be about equally protected from the average flood. And if the river rises so much that the water overtops the levee, then both sides should flood pretty equally. But let's say people on one side of the river lobby for higher levees. Now, instead of both sides flooding, only one floods. The side with the lower levees is at a clear disadvantage. So, what can people in flood zones do? We can't just pick up and move major cities. We need levees to protect places like these. There is an alternative. We could build levees farther back so rivers could still expand and create wetlands. These setback levees ease flooding on both sides rather than protecting one city at the expense of another. This approach is common in other parts of the world, like Holland, for example, but not in the US. Here, we tend to build levees right next to rivers. Some communities that can afford to build higher levees do so at the risk of others.
Okay guys, so that's the video, and what do you think about the video? Is it new to you?
Maybe I can start.
Yeah?
Yeah, for me, what I have learned is they are giving experience, or they are addressing scenarios to solve this issue of flooding. And by each scenario, they just give what shall be the consequences. So they give scenarios of cases, and they try to draw what are the consequences from what the engineers are just trying to bring out like solutions. So scenario and alternative consequences is what I realized.
Yeah, that's a nice thing to, because us, maybe the people who's not familiar with engineering things can see what is the real thing that happened in the real life by the new thing that they did in the video. And Rose, what do you think is interesting in the video?
I think it's interesting is, and what I didn't realize is that, like, I know I live next to the Rhine, so I know like the setback area and or the expansion area, and I didn't realize that if you don't have like such an area and you just make the dikes or levees higher, then the other side of the river has disadvantages with flooding. Yeah, it's very logical, but I did not realize it before.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that because I also, the first time I saw this video, I also shocked with that. Okay, so dikes can make the flood worse. I
Yes,
thought that
exactly.
dike is, the probably solving, but yeah, that's the other way around. And then the next question is, do you think that the solution of setback levies can be implemented in other countries, apart from the Netherlands? Let's go first.
Yes, I can go first. I think it can be implemented. However, when you're talking about rivers crossing big cities, then I don't think it's possible because there are already so many houses and buildings next to the river right after the dikes that there's just not room or space or for like those setback areas. And you can't. It's also said in the video you can't just move up part of a city or houses or buildings.
Yeah, you can just move the city out of the river
Yes.
because it has been planned maybe 100 years before that, and it's so hard to like demolish it all and then rebuild it eventually because some of the place were misplaced. And Jean-Claude, do you think that it's applicable outside the Netherlands?
Yeah, I think the Netherlands case can be applicable, but partly, not completely, because Netherlands is a country under sea level. So you can imagine now in US or in Indonesia. So do you have land under sea level so that we can emit the same case in Netherlands? So it depends upon the landscape morphology, and each solution will depend upon the physical condition of the land. So you can think of all cities around the world are on the shore of the sea. So will people remove the cities and rebuild afresh? So you can think of what shall be the consequences. So of course they can learn from Netherlands cases, but not completely. It depends upon each situation. It's my point of view.
Yeah, nice. Because we also need to see the morphology of the city, right? You can just do the same thing exactly like the Netherlands. We just need to know how is the soil type in the riverbanks. Is it good enough to be a wetlands? Is it just become a mud or something? Or is it just make the soil erosion worse or something like that? And so, thank you, Rose and Jean-Claude, for the interesting point of view and perspective. That's the end of session 1. I hope you enjoy the next session and the next day. After this, we have excursion. We will visit the polar system and the canals in Semarang, where you can see how the integrated flood system is worked there. And then we also have another interesting session, and I hope you enjoy this day and the next day. So see you and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
It's not showing.